All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to you on another fine morning and another opportunity for us to start the day on the right note and move forward in the direction of our dreams and desires with velocity. So, today I am going to begin with the basics. Even though you might be familiar with these basics, I thought it's time to deepen your understanding and therefore the use of these basics in your and my everyday life. The biggest challenge that we have is that we know a hell of a lot of things. Research have shown that more than 80% of the people, they use less than 10% of what they know. So we all have some sort of a attachment or obsession to get more and more and more and more and more and more knowledge. And what we already know, how much do we actually use? Can you imagine if that increases the amount of knowledge that you have? If you start using more of it, what magic miracles, could you be creating in your life? Now, the reason why we are not creating as much as we can is that obviously the brain is not getting used fully because it doesn't need to be used fully. The way we operate is, we are very necessity based. If something becomes necessary, we will do it. Otherwise, we won't. So if we look at the way we have, crafted our life, we put ourselves in a kind of safety cocoon. And inside of that, there is no need to use most of the other knowledge and skills and tools that you and I might have. So the first basic I want to us to remember is, even though we were born as a powerhouse, to create something magnificent in this world. So we are born as this wonderful powerhouse with the ability to make a huge difference with our unique gifts. Okay. But what's been happening to us from our childhood? The survival mechanism or the survival behavior has been imbued in us, indoctrinated into us. Is it wrong? No. Survival is necessary. However, if your entire life is only full of survival activities, then what are you going to create? So, what are survival activities? You know that very well, right? Roti, kapda, makan. So, from the childhood, what's the programming? In order to survive in this world, you have to be this kind of a person. You have to pursue this kind of a career. Okay. So whatever ideas, your people have, your parents or others, teachers, etc., about how and what you need for the survival in this world, all that is provided to us and we are encouraged to live inside of that, right? So on the one side, you have the capability and the capacity to create life and express your uniqueness in this world. And on the other side, there is this strong pressure to be like everybody else, to do survival things so that you can survive in this world. And somewhere the programming seems to come that, oh, it's very difficult to survive. So you better be like this. Very difficult to survive. So you better be like that. And along with this comes a lot of judgment. So when you do anything that deviates you from that survival conditioning, then there is a judgment that comes. So very soon you also start judging yourself using their yardstick. उनके तराजू से अपने आप को तोलना शुरू कर देते हो. So do you and I end up expressing our uniqueness? Like, I was born as a very creative person. Okay. I mean, I would have ideas by the dozen, but I was always put down by being told, and my mother being told in my presence, look, this fellow is turning into a dreamer. He's never going to do much in life if he thinks like this. So, the idea of dreaming, creating, imagining was pushed back somewhere. And then what came was, I have to learn these things in order to survive. Of course, you have to learn these things in order to survive. But is that the only thing that I'm supposed to do? Survive? Was I even encouraged to find out what my uniqueness is and what my unique gifts are and use them in this world? Because that's what I was brought in this world to give. I was brought here to give my uniqueness, not to be like everybody else. Right? So the first basic. Now, there is this, what we call it, dilemma. Should I go with what my heart tells me, or should I go with what my mind tells me? When I say mind, I mean the logical mind. Yeah, so what my heart tells me is what I desire. My heart knows what my uniqueness is. My heart knows where I would express myself. It does not mean that I become an impractical dreamer. So my heart tells me what to do, and my logic can tell me how to do that. But instead of that, what are we doing? Every time our dreams and desires come up in our mind, and we would love to commit ourselves to it, but your logical mind says, no, you cannot survive in this world if you do this. So drop it. So the first basic is that if you dream of something, if you desire something, you want to convert it into a goal or your mission. And at that very moment, your so-called logical mind is telling you, hello, if you do this, you may not survive. So stick to the beaten path. Stick to what people are doing. Stick to the familiar. Stick to the tried and tested. If 1,000 people are doing this must be good. So you should do that only. Don't do anything else. Interesting, isn't it? So, basic number one, are you going to listen to your heart, or are you going to listen to your mind, or both? So the first basic is listen to your heart and find out how to make it possible using your logical mind also. And the logical mind may be able to show us only very finite possibilities, which it can see with its limited perception. And then you develop your creative mind to create possibilities and act upon them. See, wishful thinking is you just have thinking, you just have thoughts, you just have imagination. But from imagination, when you convert it into action and reality, it's no longer wishful thinking. No? So if the creative, imaginative, possibility-seeking part of our brain is suppressed, what will you be doing then? Only living a survival life. No? You will not dare to dream. You will not dare to do the things that you want to do. Because even before you tried it out, or even before you made a plan how to make it happen, your so-called logical programmed brain is telling you, leave it, this is not possible, nobody else has done it, how will you do it? So that's one part of the basic you must remember, that I have this beautiful thing called my creative mind, the mind that shows me possibility. How do I look at those possibilities and program myself to say, all right, great possibility, how can I make it possible? So the moment we realize that, there is another thing that we'll have to start doing, and which we will, and we'll cover it maybe in the next session of the basics. But right now, The programmed mind, the survival mind, is only teaching you how to survive within the area where you feel and I feel comfortable. And all the logic is designed to support that kind of thinking, not a thinking which says, okay, all right, this is what I imagined, this is what I choose, this is what I desire, how to make it possible. That is a powerful conversation. So, what are we fighting against then? A strong pull of our conditioning, a strong pull of our habits. If you check and see, and you observe very carefully, you might discover that most of our activities are automatic, habitual, conditioned activities. And this conditioned activities, they can take care of all your survival needs only. And therefore, we will stick. So whatever you and I call familiar, what is familiar? Stuff that my conditioned or programmed or habitual brain is able to comfortably deal with. That is the familiar. Okay. Whenever any thought comes that wants to take you into the familiar, whenever you want to commit yourself to the unfamiliar, what does your mind tell you? Leave it. Focus on the familiar. Don't rock the boat. Don't take risk, blah, blah, blah. So where are we getting stuck in then? Survival is when you are only inside your comfort zone, which was designed for your comfort, which was designed for what is considered as security and safety. But is that all that we are going to allow ourselves to do in our life? Question to be asked. You know what programming we have? They'll tell us beggars cannot be choosers. Have you heard that one? Beggars cannot be choosers. Now look at it in another way. If you are not choosing life, then who are you? A beggar. Hey life, please allow me to survive. Hey life, allow me to live from one day to another. Hey life, let me not make a mistake today. Hey life, let me not get a scolding today. Hey life, let me not lose my job today. So that brings me to whether you're in a job or in a business or just at home or whatever. If you're always operating from I should not make a mistake, I hope I don't lose my job. What's that? Survival, right? Will you choose to do new things? Would you choose to express your new ideas? No, you'd like to go along with everybody else because that's safe. So the first basic that one has to remember even before committing yourself is that whatever am I committing to, is it only survival or is it something that I'm going to create with my uniqueness with which I was born? I don't know about you, when I look back at my life till about 1984, I was only living a survival life that I was programmed to do, and I was doing very well in that. At a pretty young age, I had become a branch manager. Okay. So by all standards, I was doing very well. I was in a very, very decent job. I could retire there. Very secure job. Nobody was chucked out of there. He was a liar or a cheat or something like that. But you know what? I had all this feeling of nagging this thing. Hey, listen, there's much more to life than just this. Was it a life of ease, joy, and glory? Maybe it was. I don't completely remember that. Joy, all right, because I was getting good salary, which never seemed to be enough. It always got over by the 20th of the month. Right? So how much joy will be there? I don't know. Is it joy when you go to a restaurant with your family and you're looking at the menu and saying, hey, listen, let's order the cheapest item on the menu? Is that joy? Then why go at all? Thoughts would come in the mind like, oh, this one meal is costing me, half my month's salary. So then should we only go out and eat in a dhaba? Then might as well eat at home. No, my home is better than a dhaba anyway. But that's the life it was. People say dare to dream. You heard that one? Dare to dream. Did we dare to dream? And then interesting thing happens. You got into your so-called chosen profession. Okay? Then the profession took over. I think we can all remember, very familiar, no? Once you join the profession takes over your life. 76 hours of, 76% of your life is spent at the workplace. So then it becomes about juggling the workplace and your family. Is it all not a survival game that's going on? Some people say, okay, why not? I mean, I can live that life. Yeah, sure, please do. You are living that life anyway, whether you like it or not. But do you have any choice there? The question to ask ourselves rather, is that, am I being the powerful, unique, extraordinary being that I was born to be? Am I using my unique gifts to create something in this world? If you are, very good. You've gone beyond the survival thinking. It was only after 27 or 28 years of my life I could go out of the survival game and live a life of choice. It's not an easy choice, but we can make that choice. But once you make that choice, then the other principles that we shall be talking about, the other basics that we are talking about here every day, they become very, very useful. So good news for everybody. Hasina ji is much, much, much better out of the ICU, back in her room. I spoke to her yesterday. She's very weak. Okay. And now let us send some energy to our good friend here, Reddy Garu, who is also not well. Okay. So let's send quick booster dose of energy to Reddy Garu right now. So Reddy Garu, be happy and be well. Tons and tons of energy going your way, goodwill and love, all of that, so that you recover quickly. So coming back, I want one or two of you to recapitulate the two major basic points that I made today. Who would like to do that? Yeah, I want you to tell me what I said, not your interpretation of what I said. So who's going to do that? Tadang, 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 Vetrival Shanmugam, go ahead.
Sir, can I add very little percentage of interpretation?
No.
Okay, sir.
After you say what I said, then you may add your interpretation.
Okay, sir. The biggest distinction we saw was the difference between heart and mind. Heart always leads us to dream. That is our nature. And mind is packed with the logic and it pulls us. So I put things this way. if we train our mind to follow heart dream, we become successful. Instead, unknowingly, we train our heart to follow the logic and stop dreaming, and we fail being default and normal person. The purpose of EMC is to bring back
Okay,
the power to the
okay.
dreamer.
Stop. There is another very important part. Thank you very much, Vetri. Very accurate. But what we must also remember is that, see, even our logical mind is a very useful thing. Okay. So, like Vetri was also saying, if you train your mind or train yourselves to use this beautiful mind and its creative imagination, etc., and then use the logic to find out how to make it possible. That is the basic starting point of powerful living. Okay. And what we are normally doing, whenever a creative idea or a new, dream or some desire shows up, logic says, if your logic says not possible, then you drop it. But if your logical mind is programmed to say, okay, this is a great idea, how can I make it possible? Then logic will start working to make it possible. Okay, that's where we more or less are. Thank you, Vetri. Yes, Reddy Garu.
Sir, actually, I asked this question, I think a couple of days back about heart and mind. But many a time, my observation for myself is I go with mind. So maybe I have to train myself how to observe myself and go with my heart. That's what I thought I'll share with you.
That's very good. But don't forget one thing, Reddy Garu, this mind or logical mind is a very useful thing, right? So if you go with your heart is saying, okay, let me do this. Okay.
Yes,
Normally, your logical brain says, forget it, it's not possible. So you drop it. Correct?
yes,
Now, what I'm saying is, when your heart says something, use your logic and say, all right, my dear great logical mind, let me find out how to make it possible. Because practical part of your brain only is going to make it possible, no?
yes, sir.
So we cannot reject that. Only problem is that till now, this so-called logical one has been dominating too much. So it kills countless ideas, it kills countless dreams and desires. You see, with your heart, you also have empathy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, for example, let us say there is a person on your team and he's coming to, sir, big difficulty, not possible, blah, blah, blah. Now you can either use your logic and say, I don't care, you have to do it. Okay. Otherwise, get out. But your heart will say, no, no, how can I do that? He's been with me for so many years, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, let him do what he's doing. Okay. That is also not going to work. Now, if you use your heart and say, okay, all right, this guy is with me for so many years. He's a good guy. Let me see what are the good things. And how can I, then you will use your logical mind to say, okay, how can I help him to deal with this situation? Okay. How can I empower him so that he is not giving up? Because his heart is making him give up. His logic is making him give up something.
Yes, sir.
Right? And out of your sympathy, you are saying, okay, if he gives up, never mind. But you can use your logic and say, okay, fine, I get it, you are in trouble. I understand that you're having difficulty. Now let's work together and find out how to make it possible. And you can be very unreasonable about that. Not nasty.
Yeah.
Unreasonable mean no, get up. Like when a child falls down and he's crying and you say, "Hey, Baba, please pick me up, Baba, I've fallen down." What will you do as a good father with a heart? You will pick him up in your arms and take him. Right? Better example is, chal, hold my hand, stand up. I know you can stand up. Come on, you're a strong boy. No, I can't get up. So your heart will win. You'll never empower him to get up. But you can use your logic and say, beta, come on, I I know you're a strong fellow. You can get up on your own. Come on, come on, come on. Don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Eventually, you will get up. Get it? What have you done now? You've used your heart as well as your logical mind.
Yes.
So, this is something, if we start to realize, I have got the power of both my minds with me. It's not only one mind that I have. Okay. I will get these ideas. My dreams and desires is what my heart is telling me. My logical mind can tell me how to make this into reality. Initially, it may be saying, oh, this is only a dream. It cannot happen. Not possible. That is the way this survival brain is operating. But you tell this survival brain, okay, I'm telling you it is possible. Let us find out how to make it possible. You're telling your own brain. And it's very interesting. Tomorrow we'll talk about that when you take a stand, when you hold firm in something, how your own logical brain will also start showing you the way forward rather than keeping you limited in that zone. So thanks for asking, Reddy Garu. I think it's allowed me to clarify much more. Thank you, Vetri, also. Okay, anybody else you want to ask something, you want to share something? I shared a little bit about my journey, how we got programmed into do this job, then stick to the job. Now, many times I had better job offers. My father says, stick to the job. Rolling stone gathers no moss. Okay. When I was in that company, I got a, what shall I say, triple designation job in another company. Okay. So when the salary was negotiated, the salary was the same as what I was getting here. Here the designation was smaller, but the position was bigger. I mean, in terms of responsibility and others. There, the salary was the same as I was getting here, but they'd given me a very fancy designation. Okay. Which I give in this company, German companies, they don't give you good designation. Okay. So you're stuck over there. So anyway, so who do I consult now in this case? My father. So I said, this is nonsense. You don't join that. But you know what? In the world of business, getting a higher designation means you get better chances and more doors opening up for you. Right? So what happened? My heart was saying, take it. And this didn't happen once. It happened second time also. The head of HR of Titan was very well known to me. Right? And I was working with Fenner at one point of time as a regional manager. And that guy said, hey, Sukhdeepak, we've started this Titan company. You come and join. It's a Tata company. So I went and gave the interview. A lot of possibilities. Right? Then there again, they said, no. We can give you only same designation. Right? I didn't even ask him how much salary you'll give her. So can remember, we are talking about the year 90 something when Titan had just started. I mean, it was less than a year old. And I was getting a regional manager's job there. And I said no to it. What made me say no to it? My stupid logical mind. Can you imagine if you get on board at such an early stage in a company, what can you do there? And what can you become over there? Why was my logic not working in that direction? So is logic infallible? See, there are life choices we have to make many times. And we don't use our balance there, our stuckness, our conditioning to something does not allow us to move forward, right? So please remember basic number 1. Use your mind fully. Otherwise, you will stop even before you commit yourself to something. All right, guys. So that's the end of today's session. Thank you very much for being there. Anybody wants to say something as before we close so that you feel? Yes, Babu.
So Shairi, sir.
Guru Karo Shairi. Let us hear from you only.
Sir.
Other shairs are not there.
So it is like
It
मिला
goes
है
like,
सब कुछ. Yes, it goes and it comes like this. मिला है सब कुछ तो फरियाद क्या करें.
मिला है सब कुछ तो फरियाद क्या करें. वाह वाह वाह.
Yes. दिल हो परेशान तो जज्बात क्या करें.
दिल हो परेशान तो जज्बात क्या करें.
तुम सोचते होगे कि आज याद नहीं किया, पर कभी भूले ही नहीं तो याद क्या करें.
वाह 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 वाह. वेरी नाइस. जब हम भूले ही नहीं तो याद क्या करें. You want to translate it because it's such a gem. I mean, I want
Sir, I
Shakti
shall
and
try
all.
doing. So the first line says, मिला है सब कुछ तो फरियाद क्या करें. When I have everything in my life, so what to wish for, right? दिल हो परेशान तो जज्बात क्या करें. मतलब if heart is at not at peace, or when it is you are in trouble, so what emotions or what can we
What can
do,
they do for you?
something. Yeah. तुम सोचते होगे कि आज याद नहीं किया. Now this is for EMC. You might be thinking that today I didn't remember you, but however, when I have not forgotten you, when you are in all my thoughts, all my breath, how to even remember you, because you are always in my thoughts. So only when we forget we remember, no. So when we always in the thoughts, then there is no chance of remembering. You are always in the thought.
वाह वाह वाह. फिर से एक बारी जरा वो ओरिजिनल
Hindi.
वाला बताइए.
So I shall put it in the group also.
या
Yeah. So, मिला है सब कुछ तो फरियाद क्या करें. दिल हो परेशान तो जज्बात क्या करें. तुम सोचते होगे कि आज याद नहीं किया, कभी भूले ही नहीं तो याद क्या करें.
wow 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 wow. Thank you, and very nice note to end today's session. Thank you very much for being there. Look forward to see you tomorrow. So dream big, do big, create a life of your dreams. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.